witnessing in that part of the country as well. What do you make of this situation? Where do we go from here onwards?
I mean, I think insecurity anywhere in this country, of course, has a ripple effect on most of the things. The economy doesn't grow. I mean, agriculture issues also go down. Schools are also affected. Health centers are also affected, and development is affected. I think, I mean, this problem was solved in Uganda. The other side of Uganda, it was solved. We don't hear about that issue anymore. So we can borrow a leaf, I think, from Uganda. And I think it's time for all these guns to be mopped out of this area. Because Zainab, you feel like you're in a different Kenya, you know.
But I think we even had an operation, I believe that was 2 years ago, when the Interior Cabinet Secretary, Fred Matiang'i, had issued such kind of an operation to disarm, you know, the members there, the bandits. But we also, you know, we saw curfews being, you know, put in place. But really, the situation seems not to be improving.
But these operations sometimes are political. You know, we know when the operations are starting, but we are not told when they are ending. Because, you know, the political leaders come in. You know, you have seen political leaders also been arrested previously, I think maybe in two or 3 months ago. So this is fueled by so many issues. There is the political issue. There is also the issue of business, because you can imagine if this livestock is stolen, where does it end up to? I mean, maybe it ends up in the butcheries in Nairobi and other areas. So for me, I look at it as a business issue as well. So we need to also look long term. We need to look at what are other sources of you know, livelihoods in these areas. I mean, can they go into agriculture? Because I understand there are some parts of the land in that area is very rich. You know, it can support different varieties of crops. It has happened in some areas in Turkana, where there was you know, abundant cattle rustling, and they have moved from, you know, rearing cattle to agriculture. We need to look at long-term measures, basically.
All right.
Yeah.
Senator, this is certainly business unusual. You have 8 GSU officers in this, you know, situation, dying and killed by these bandits. They've run away. Nobody has been arrested so far. It's a bad situation.
Really, I agree with you. In fact, one question that comes to mind is that how many bandits died? We have not been told how many died. I suspect none died, but our own 8 officers died, which means that the bandit could be having more sophisticated weapons than our own officers, which is very absurd. And that's why I agree with Edwin that disarmament needs to happen. And if disarmament is not happening, it means that the government must be involved somewhere. Because why leave the bandit to roam around, kill your officers, and you don't take any action?
But we've seen action from even the previous administrations. Yeah. Should perhaps this new administration look at a different way of approach in terms of handling the situation there?
I think it's all about focus, it's all about intelligence systems. And one thing that I did not see happen is that I'm wondering where the regional commissioner is for Rift Valley. Because you remember when we had the current governor of Mathioya, you could see visibility around that. You could see him moving up and down, taking charge of security. So really, the regional commissioner who is representing the government should tell us what is happening. How can small boys carrying weapons kill 8 officers with no casualty on their end? It's really absurd.
But you think we do have the Rift Valley Regional Coordinator there, Mali Mahmoud, saying his warning of a major operation to flush out the bandits. But this, remember, is just statements for now until we see something is happening.
You see, this major operation should be proactive. It should always happen before the calamities come. When they keep on talking about major operation when people have died, really, it's absurd.
Is it lack of intelligence?
Intelligence is there. I think there's something wrong with the way these things are happening. Could be political, as my friend Edwin is saying here, because some people are involved in cattle trading, even people within the government. And I think this is where another chance for Ruto administration to demonstrate their ability to handle with this problem, because it is happening in his own backyard of Rift Valley. You know, Pokoti, Turkana and Marakwet fighting each other, really happening in his own backyard. So, you know, when he was in Uhuru's administration, he was blaming it on Uhuru. But now, the mantle is in his hands. We want to see how he's going to deal with this problem as a head of state.
Maybe Zainab, just on the same issue. I mean, we also need to look at our borders, because our borders are very porous on that area. We know there are so many guns that are coming, illegal guns, that are coming from neighboring countries, which maybe I don't want to mention. The other thing is, if you remember about 4 months ago, there was a GSU officer who was arrested carrying ammunition from Nairobi, taken to Pokot and those areas of Turkana and Baringo. So it is internal. So if we can be able to address it internally, then we are able to solve the solution. Again, when this thing happened in Laikipia, we saw the army, even the drones. I think we have the capacity, as the senator is saying, but the issue is we are reactive instead of being proactive.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Before you just move on a little bit ahead, this is what's on the Standard. On the front page of the Standard, you have Ruto invites 40 clerics to purify State House. Divine intervention, they say. President held Thanksgiving prayers to celebrate his election win hours after jetting back into the country from the US, and urged the clergy to pray for his office and the economy that is choking in debt. That is on page 6 of the Standard. Eliud the Great there, by the way. He clocked 2 hours, 1 minute and 9 seconds. That's a new marathon world record at the Berlin Marathon. Just